but I've just thought about it.
Yes.
About period of validity of license.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I'm not supporting the short period of 1 year, but the shorter the period, the more robust the institute becomes in trying to correct, or rather to sweep away the quacks or anybody who's coming to taint the name of the institute. So my thinking was the 3 years may be such a long period like that if somebody gets into the system or as an ICT practitioner and is not licensed, he or she may taint the name before being vetted or rather before being licensed. So let's think in that line of the period is accommodative to the members, but it's also risky to the name of the institute in the event a quack comes in without a license. Thank you.
Yeah, but the question is, how will a quack be registered for the 3 years?
No, I mean, by the time if somebody is registered,
yes,
and is a member,
yes,
and in the process of practice,
in the case
he does not adhere to the practicing license rules.
Yes.
Before the 3rd year comes, he may have spoiled the name of this institute.
But
yes.
But we have the disciplinary process.
Not at all.
We have the disciplinary
Yeah, such a person's name will be stripped off immediately.
Pardon?
Okay.
The name of such a person will be removed immediately. They are not waiting for the 3 years. The 3 years is just for us to show the changes in the progress that we've made. So it really doesn't affect.
The 3 years is for those ones who are following the regulations.
Yes.
To renew.
Okay.
Yeah. But for the ones who are falling foul of the regulations, they don't wait for the 3 years. Those ones, the disciplinary process can take place anytime.
Okay, based on the complaints from the public.
From various sources. It could be from the public, or it could even just be something that is noticed somewhere. Public is one source. Yeah.
But Banachair, it's a dame here. I think this gentleman has a very, very valid point. You know, when you look at ICT compared to the other professions, this is one area, one sector that changes so dramatically within such a short period of time.
Yes.
I think his point carries some weight. If you look at it keenly, this is one area which you should not really compare, especially when it comes to changes and new innovations coming into force and being practiced to affect the common mwananchi. This is the only area that is continuously affected and bombarded by changes in technology. And therefore, what he is trying to bring across is that before you know it, before the 3 year elapses, a lot of changes will have taken place. That's really, I think that is his point, which I think carries a lot of weight. Is it possible to leave this thing at 1 year, or maybe at most 1 or 2 years? But 3 years in IT, that is such a long time.
Yes,
especially going by today's trends.
Yes.
Chair, I agree with these sentiments. Actually, I'm caught in between. I think that sometimes as professionals, you'll be unable to undertake jobs because, oops, you just expired the other day, and you have to go back, and you know sometimes the process, know how long it takes. Exactly. What I think is that given, for example, the certifications that we have, most of them are just 3 years, actually.
So are you for 3 years or 1 year?
3 years.
It's just that if you make a mistake, your name is taken off. Then you're starting. So 3 years for me looks okay.
Yeah, it's taken off immediately. Yeah. I don't know, Chris Adem. What I was thinking is these 3 years, and you are talking of 1 year because of changes in ICT. But even when we are renewing after 3 years, I don't know what the process is. But I'm not seeing something like an examination being held for the person who is renewing. So it really doesn't make much difference whether the person is even up to date with the technology. There's no examination.
Yeah, there's no examination, yes, but the thing is the changes in that particular sector where that practitioner is practicing within, a lot of changes might have occurred within 3 years, such a long time. I don't know whether you get the point.
So how can those changes affect a person not to be registered after 1 year or after 3 years?
So let's assume some new change has occurred. For example, now I think Baraza was talking about cloud, whatever. Somebody was talking of SaaS, somebody was talking of PAC, and so on, PaaS, and so on. These are things which are continuously and consistently changing within a year or two. And a lot of things will have really changed. So if this guy has renewed his contract and is due to be renewed in another 3 years within that same area where he's operating in, chances are some of these things will not be taken care of in his renewal license. And he's already practicing in the field.
Excuse me, sir. What is the reason why someone would be given a license? What determines why someone would be given a license? Is it because that they have been doing or they have updated themselves with the current changes in the ICT sector, or it's because they are qualified? If we have an answer to that, I don't think it is necessary for someone who has already been licensed to be denied a license the next time simply because there are changes that have happened over the period of 3 years.
Yeah, thank you, Nicholas. Yeah, and I think also somebody mentioned something which is also pertinent, that we don't know the process of renewing this license, what it involves. It might be involving time to renew your license, maybe 2-3 months. Now, if you take 3 months out of the 12, you might have very little time to
Chair,
do it. Yes?
I've seen things like certificate of good conduct and many other things being dragged into literally everything else. So don't be surprised that all these things just become stampeds into whatever we need to achieve. But I think the objective here is that, one, you're already qualified, that's why you're registered, but you're renewing to check on how ethical you've been in the field.
Yes. So, you are supporting 3 years?
I think 3 years is okay if you ask me.
Can we make it 2?
Other professional body, as much as you're qualified to be given a license, always ensure that they attach a caveat to it, like you must
louder, please.
You must reach this number of CPD points to get a license renewal. That will just ensure that the professional, every duration that will be stated, be it 1 year or 3 years, that you keep on improving yourself. Not necessarily be up to date with what is happening, but at least be still studying in the field. Keep abreast with what is happening. Thank you.
Yeah. I think some of those details of renewal, I think they'll come up in the regulations. You cannot put everything in the act.
Okay.
Hello, Prof.
So I don't know. Where do we stop? We need to move on because we already finished our time. I think we are going to steal another 10 minutes or so, just to complete, if people don't mind. But where do we stop? Can we leave it at the 3 years?
Yeah,
3 years. 3 years.
3 years.
Let's leave it at 3 years. So Willie, please change that to 3 years.
Yes. It's done.
And then we were on disciplinary, I think, which was okay. Disciplinary procedures. And then there'll be some consequences if somebody is removed or their license cancelled. That is on page 971. I think that is straightforward. And then number 33 on page 972. Just very quickly, there are some offenses that can be created by people, ICT professionals.
Yeah.
Those who are using titles that they don't deserve, or those who are not eligible to be licensed or registered under this act, use the title ICT practitioner. So even the use of the title ICT practitioner will be restricted. I think we all agree with that.
Yeah.
And then 34 seems to be controlling training institutions. I think that's okay. 973, financial provisions, I think we can skip that. That's not in our area. Then miscellaneous. This is what someone talked about earlier. The council may make regulations generally for the better carrying into effect of the provisions of this act. So there are some details of things like somebody has just mentioned about people having to get CPD points and so on and so forth. Those ones are details that will flesh out the act, and they'll come later on in terms of regulations that will be created or formulated through the council.
Yes, because the council will be will have representation of the institute as we saw back in section 4.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then on page 97642, we have a transition provision there. For in case there are some people that are practicing, they can continue for some time. So there's a transition there. That one is standard in any kind of a bill. And then on page 978, that one does not really concern us. Conduct of business. And then on page 981, we have the committees of the council. These are just fine details. There will be an examination, registration, and quality assurance committee, a continuing education committee, disciplinary committee, finance and administration committee, and any other committees that the council may determine. I think that's okay. And then number 9, page 982, this one is just recapping what somebody already pointed out for us, memorandum of objects and reasons. And basically that is it. That is the act. We managed to go through it in the 1.5 hours. I can see Bwana Kileo is quite happy. Bwana Kileo, anything you'd like to add? I think your microphone is off.
Yes. Yeah, actually, I was following up this meeting from the beginning. It was very good. Actually, in Tanzania, we do also started the same thing for some times, and now it is actually in operation. We are registering our ICT personnel. People who are in the field of ICT have been registered with our Commission of ICT. And as you have heard, now we also, this year, President Magufuli decided to introduce a Ministry of ICT. So basically, I think we are moving on the same direction. And I find these things is of indeed something good to recognize professionals in the field of ICT.
Thank you, Kileo. I think it's good. It's heartening to know that we are not alone in getting these kind of laws to help us to define our profession. So thank you very much. There have always been questions. Is this kind of law, is it existing in any other country and so on? What can we use as a benchmark? So it's good to know that even our neighbors have something like this in place. I've seen in the chat, Maureen, you're saying you need a vote. Can you please tell us you need a vote on what? Maureen, we are going point by point through the. Well, would you like a vote on what? If you can come on the speaker. She's not there.
Chair,
Maureen Vemba. Somebody else says this meeting of 1.5 hours is not enough to discuss our input. Another session could be convened. Well, I can always ask the committee if they can give us another session, because this one was actually short. Then somebody's asking whether this is really genuine public participation. You know, the issue of public participation, it's a bit short, I accept. Or rubber stamping. Okay, Alex Watila, what was your thought before we wind up? What was your thought? What would you have liked? Did you have any misgivings about any part of the bill? Have we given you a chance to air your view? Alex Watila? Not, maybe it's not on, or maybe he's muted. Clifford,
Chair,
yeah?
this Henry, I would love to say something.
Who is this? Thomas.
Henry.
Henry Abea.
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
I would want to say something. The session is okay, though I think the time to go through the act or the document really is not enough. And I think if we could get another session to go through the same, probably we could fine tune where we have not been able to.
Yeah, I can request if they can extend for us the time and we try again next week. But I'm not confirming that they will accept, because I don't know whether the committee in Parliament will be meeting also soon. So I can just request them, and then I'll come back. We'll come back to you by email. But in case of anything, at least the output that we have generated today, we can try to make use of it in case of anything.
Sure.
But if they can give us extra time, then we can even try to fine tune better what our input can be. So I feel like closing the meeting. Anybody with a burning issue?
Yeah, Daktari, I've gone through the comments of most of the chat, and most of the people feel that if you can strongly try and get another slot for them, they will be very happy. Majority are saying that because they felt the time is short, as you said initially.
Okay. That one, as I've said, I'm going to talk to the chair of the ICT and Innovation Committee, and then we'll see if they can accept for us to send another. But it will not be long. We would need to call another meeting by next week, if it was possible. Yeah, around this time, maybe by around Wednesday or Thursday there next week. I'm very happy with the participation of this one. We have been averaging at least 90 people online at the same time, which is good for an online meeting. So
Chair, please.
Thank you so
Chair,
much.
Please.
Yes,
Chair, please.
Thomas?
Yeah, just a quick one.
Yes.
You may allow people to send what we call memoranda to the committee, so that in the event they will not be able to participate online, their views are already captured. So I am suggesting you share with that an email through which rather you tell members having shared, because I know there are people who will see this bill after we have concluded. So it's good you are allowed to them that you are free to go through the bill and send your memoranda to this email, so that in the event
directly. That's a good point. You're also free to send directly. So we shall share the email for the Innovation Committee, ICT and Innovation Committee, in case you want to send a memo or you need to send a thought directly to them. That is also allowed. This one we were just doing it. We also wanted to send a memo just Computer Society of Kenya, because sometimes as a body corporate, there is a little bit more weight. So you have the option also of sending as individuals. So we shall share that with you using the same method that Philip used to communicate with you to inform you about this meeting. So I think on that note, I don't want to keep you too long. We have, as ICT professionals, we should keep time, and we are already over time by around 10 minutes. So I thank all of you, and Philip, please, you can close the meeting.
Hello, thanks for participating. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Philip.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Sema.